Just thought I'd go for a stroll on my one wheel. Nice day out. Hopefully I don't get fucked up. What's good, y'all? First off, I want to just start by saying I apologize if there's any lisp in my speech. I just got a new set of teeth where, I'm real blessed. They were extremely expensive implants. Never thought I'd be able to get a new set of teeth after I'm gonna be real, I ruined them because of alcohol and depression pretty much. And so, but somehow, I got blessed with a new set of teeth. I just have to get used to, you know, it feels different. And so, I got a little bit of a lisp. But anyway, and I just want to wish everybody a happy Memorial Day. Shout out to, anybody that served or is currently serving. If you run across this video, I'm not really a fan of the government, to be real, but I know y'all mean well. No, for real, thank you for your service. But yeah, anyway, I've been doing a lot of soul searching, been doing something called shadow work. And if you're not familiar with that, that's making things in your subconscious mind conscious, bringing them to your conscious mind, because we actually operate by our subconscious mind, not our conscious mind. And so a lot of times we have things in our unconscious mind that are hidden from us. And it's a way the brain protects us. It's a survival thing. But it can be extremely beneficial to make a lot of the things that you're unconscious about conscious to you. But it can be a very difficult process because it's in your unconscious for a reason. You know what I mean? And and a lot of the things that are you kind of put in the shadow, you did it as a child for certain reasons, maybe probably mostly for survival reasons. And anyway, I've made a lot of progress on this shadow work journey. And like I said, it's not an easy journey, but it's extremely beneficial. And I just recently hit I feel like the big thing that I had in my conscious mind. And the thing was so close, but I couldn't see it. Just kind of like a fish in water, where the fish is so close to the water he can't even see it. And that's what this video is going to be about. And it's been kind of emotional for me the last few days is I realize this, because it's been like highs of realizing this and then the lows of realizing this. And anyway, I'm going to get into it. And so for most of my life, I couldn't find my purpose, my thing. You know, a lot of people have their thing, right? Like, but I couldn't find mine. And I wanted to so bad. And I've always felt like an outcast, like I never belonged anywhere. You know, I have certain things that I've been interested in, like rap. I like to write, right? I like to read. But I just couldn't find the thing. And I think a big part of my alcoholism had something to do with that. Because you're just kind of like, and anyway, I figured it out doing shadow work. And it's crazy because, and I found it. I figured it out by, just being more conscious and doing the shadow work, just paying real close attention and retracing my things of when I was a kid. Because a lot of these things, like, you know, in a way, it was like self-abandonment, you know. But anyway, the thing is, a sailor was the thing that, the dream I had, but I forgot it. But it stayed with me. I just couldn't see it. And I'm gonna get into reason, like the whys and the hows of why I forgot it, and stuff like that. And I'm gonna start talking about, and it's really hard kind of figuring this out so late in your life. You know, I'm 40 and I'm gonna pursue it, but it's kind of like, fuck, you know what I mean? Like, I wasted so much time. You know, I could have been focusing, putting my energy in these things. But I'm going to talk about how I rediscovered it. Okay. I started looking at, like, before society and outside influences, I feel like, got in my head. I'm going to talk about what I wanted to be. And I feel like a lot of people are like this. And I feel like that's why a lot of people are out here struggling, working jobs that it just doesn't feel like that's their place. Because I think a lot of us aren't in alignment with who we really are. And your happiness is going to come from getting in alignment with who you truly are. Before kind of society told you to go, you should go this route and you should be this and stuff like that. And so, but I'm going to talk about, like, first, some of my favorite movies and books. All right. From as early as I can remember. One of the first books that I remember actually, like, delving into, being interested, even before I could read or read good. As soon as I could, like, make out words a little bit, I had a book. It was the Treasure Island book. Adventure, pirates, the ocean. Then after that, it was like, I think a book that really, where I started to, then it was like Danny and the Dinosaur. The first book that I actually really like that I read the whole way through and just got really deeply into, that kind of really um, pushed my passion for reading, was James and the Giant Peach. And it, if you're not familiar with the story, basically the boy sets off in a peach and sails, right? And so pirates, you know, James and the Giant Peach sailing. And then, you know, first movie, Peter Pan, crazy. Like, you can ask me and my cousin, Todd, we called him Little Todd. We were crazy about that movie. Like, we were jumping up in the theater. It was the first movie that I remember seeing, and just crazy about it, obsessed with it. Then I look at my favorite movies and the movies in my 20s that I'm crazy about. The Truman Show. It spoke to my soul. I like the music. It was like, it was a guy that was like, if you haven't seen the movie, he was in a world where, like, he was in a show, but he didn't know he was in a show. And then the society, it was like society turned him into something he wasn't, and his real passion was sailing. But the society had kind of conditioned him to be afraid of the water because they wanted to control him, and they wanted him to. So everybody in his circle, his friends, his family, was all part of the show, and his father was absent. And so he kind of like people pleased, and but he never felt fulfilled. And he finally, at the end of the movie, spoiler alert, he finally set off because he figured out it was all kind of a matrix. And so he set off into the water, and the storm came, and they were trying to, the guy who was playing God, which is kind of like our society, the government, was, created the storm to kind of like get him to go back to the regular world, forget about his dreams of adventure. But he just kept going. He was just a sailor. Okay. My other favorite movie, The Matrix. And I'm sure everybody's seen this movie where it's like they're in the Matrix, and then the real reality, they're all on a ship. It's a spaceship, but it's still a ship. Even if you look at like all my, like in the background, you can't see it, but over in the corner there's a ship. Everything is related to travel and adventure, and even the clothes I was wearing, it's all Dockers, and I was always, and even I wasn't even conscious of this. This is all unconscious stuff, but the clothes I was wearing, I had Nautica cologne, and I like shark stuff, and I had Dockers and all this sailor kind of clothes, and just a lot of the things that I were watching, it was all that lifestyle. My favorite video game, I don't play video games that much, but the games that I've actually completed is Assassin's Creed, and my favorite Assassin's Creed game is Black Flag, the pirate one. And I never really even thought of it. Like even the kind of person I am, I it's all connected. You know, it's all connected. And yeah, I love other things. Like I like rap, and I like you know writing, but I felt like, why am I so complete? Feel incomplete, and because a lot of times we crave adventure, but we have. I feel like we're living in a society that kind of conditions us to kind of like seek comfort and seek safety a little too much, and that takes away the adventure out of life. And then we're doing a lot of times we're stuck in these repetitive jobs that don't fulfill us, and we just feel like and a lot of people play video games because they get the venture through video games, right? But we need to start getting that in real life. And a lot of times people be suicidal and be like, because we're not and we feel like life sucks because we're not living in alignment to our purpose. And then people and now there's more connections I could talk about, but then I want to get into the why. Like, what happens to get us to stray so far from who we're supposed to be? And one reason, I think it could be the situation you're born into. So you can be born into a situation where your caregivers are maybe the opposite of what you are, right? You can be anti-establishment and your caregivers can be establishment. You could be adventure and your caregivers can be safety. You can be rugged, but like your caregivers, you can be just like a rugged type of person, but your caregivers might be like doctors, and so they see you being a certain way, and a lot of times people want to make you like them. They think people, because of our egos, people, if a person's into one thing, he'll want to make, a lot of times, especially parents, they want to make you like them, instead of, because a lot of them times they're unconscious, and so they don't see you for who you are. Another one of my favorite movies was, I was crazy about the Three Musketeers. I was obsessed. I want my and also too, society tells you go to college, da da da. When I look at like what I really wanted for myself, it was to learn how to be really good with a gun, to be really good with the sword, to be really good with karate. But then I got it, I won first place. My first trophy that I won was in karate. These are the things, but then society could tell you guns are bad, and some of us are naturally a certain way, and then society say you're kind of like, they say, ADD. He got ADD. No, some of us are ballsy and we just go into danger and we're just reactive. We're built for certain things. Certain people are like soldiers. Some people are accountants. Some people are pilots. Some people are like, we have souls that naturally gravitate to certain things. But society tells you to, go a certain way, religion. It wants you to, it gets you, and you might have one dream that, no, you need to be a this of God and da da da. Or like society is telling you, you need to go to college, and it's like, fuck, I never wanted to go to college. I mean, like, I've always wanted to learn. I love learning things, but I don't want to care about college. Some people don't want to be, but society is like, you got to be rich and famous. You need to do this, and it gets in our head, and it programs us to like fall in line, and it's like I'm getting like, I like to rap, but I'm like, I don't even really want to be famous for real. Like I don't really care. I just like to rap, because a lot of times if you want to be famous anyway, you have to rap like everybody else, and I really don't want to. Or you have to like, and I don't want to rap like everybody else. That I like to rap because I like to express myself and I love music, but like I don't really want to rap. I never really wanted to be a gangster. I never really wanted. I don't care about material things like that. I'm not obsessed with, like, look at my chains. They're all cheap. Like, and it's not because these are the chains I like. I like the Raven. You know what I'm saying? I like the Viking shit. I like the, the shark. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care about Gucci and all that shit. It's not my thing. I don't care about expensive stuff. That's a lot of, I feel like that's a lot of conditioning. That, you know what I mean? People get conditioned. And then a lot of times, like, and I've realized this shit just recently. And when you go in my bedroom, you see I have I forget what it's called, but I've always been into compasses and globes. Like, if you could see back there, I got this big ass globe. I got a globe in my room. I got this maritime thing over my closet. I forget what they're called, but it's like a tapestry. I go by the ocean and I feel alive. It's like I go sit by the river at night. And then the people that I like really connect with, they're all those type of people. Right? Like, and I was unconscious of this. I didn't even realize the fucking shit. You know what I mean? It was just a natural, natural places I drifted. Certain people, I just naturally, you know what I mean? Certain things, like exploring. I've always, even like, I don't smoke much, but when I do, like, I smoke out of a corncob pipe. And I remember in like, one of my coworkers said something to me, and he was like, man, you like, you want to be Popeye so bad. I eat a lot of spinach. And these are things that I just do. Like, I didn't think about it. Like, it just comes natural. It's just who I am. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like, why would he say that? Because I didn't make the connection. Like, I'm not trying to be no pop. Like, what the fuck is he talking about? I did watch a lot of Popeye when I was young, so I was kind of like, damn, maybe I am. You know what I mean? And so, like, and then society, where they say, oh, you're mentally ill when you're depressed and like, suicidal or anything. It's kind of like, oh, you're depressed, you got ADHD, they give you the pills. Now you're not in a lot, and you get on drugs and stuff like that because you're fucking miserable. And it's like you're not living in alignment to who you are. Like, I should have been out here, and then you'll be depressed because they're like, I'm a loser, not in college. And it's like, I never even wanted to go to college. Society, and then it's like, the Navy appealed to me, but I'm not a government dude. Like, my dad's a government dude, but I'm not a government dude. I can't stand the government. I don't want to fucking. I could always like see through that. I don't want to walk. This government is kind of traitorous. I don't. I have a moral compass. I don't want to work for the government. It's appealing because it's like, yeah, it's a life and adventure, and I could be doing the boat, but it's like, I'd rather not. I don't want to do. I don't want to. Maybe a privateer or something like that, but I'm just not a government dude, right? So, but the adventure lifestyle always appealed. The military always appeared because it's like, I want to shoot guns, right? Like I want adventure. I want, if I can do it over, now I'm going to start, but it's kind of depressing because I'm like fucking 40, but I'm going to start and pursue anyway. But if I could do it over again, I would have focused my energy going to the gun range. I would have been doing like fencing or something involved, like, something like that. I would have got into karate. I would have been learning how to sail a boat. Like I just, there's this VR game, it's called Maritime Cup, and you can learn how to sail a boat. Like and it's like legit, right? So, and it's also, it could be like the neighborhoods you're born into. Like a lot of times, especially when you're black, it's like, if in the neighborhoods you're born into, everybody's trying to be gangsters, and everybody's trying to play basketball or whatever. And if you have other dreams, they could just feel so impossible. Like I'm poor. Like, how am I going to get a boat? But I feel like if you just live in alignment with your goals and just don't think about that and just have faith, things fall into place. But your rational mind can just convince you that this is impossible. There's no way that I could make, and then people around you a lot of times are so brainwashed, and they're so much of a follower, they'll diss everything about you. Like, I like the schools I was going to, like, when I was living in alignment more with my true self, I got dissed because it's like the hats that I like weren't the hats everybody was wearing. Everybody was wearing like fitteds, right? I didn't like fitteds, right? Everybody was trying to be gangsters, Timberlands. That just wasn't me. The things I like were different than what all the other kids like, right? So a lot of, they'll dish you for not being like everybody else in the schools, in the city schools that I was raised in. They even dish you for being like liking to read and certain stuff, right? And now I look back like, man, I was right. Like, I was the smart one. The worst mistake that I've ever fucking, the one regret that I have is that I listen to people. The older I get, the more dumb like a lot of people are, and then you'll get fucked over listening to these people, because we've been detached from like listening to your intuition is the truth. But people like, oh, you need to live like this, you need to be like this, you need to cut, like, it's like, no, I'm not like you, and I like who I am. I don't want to be like, I don't want to be like a lot of people. And I'm not saying nothing's wrong with how people live, but it's just not me. But people try to push you into being like them. I'm not a guy that wants to wear suits and all that. I'm not, that's like, I'm not against them either, but I'm not like an aristocrat type guy. I'm a guy that, like, I'm just a regular dude. I don't want to be, I'm okay with that. I even looked at my last name, bro. Like, my last name, it can be traced to Bartholomew and it can be traced to boats. My first name, it's related to doves. You see doves in the Noah's Ark story. I've always been attracted to these things. And I'm all fucking dumb, like, oh, I don't know what I want to do. My first best friend name was fucking Brian Waters. His dad had a boat. Reality communicates to you, but we're too disconnected to even realize it. These things can't be coincidence. I love skulls, but see, in a lot of this conditioning, skulls are evil and all this shit. If you're, that could be the situation you're born into. You could be born into, like, my spiritual beliefs. You can be born into a situation where your family sees those things as blasphemous or heretical. But it's like, nah, I'm just not like y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I like to cuss. People can convince you that cussing is bad and this is bad and the way you are is bad. When it's like, no, that's a lot of that is programming. But it was so close to me, I couldn't see it. And I'm fucking pissed now. I'm happy because it's like, okay, now I can, even clocks, like, I love clocks. I like, I can't see it, but I got clocks right there. Like, I love certain kind of clocks. And then I think of, like, one of my favorite movies, Hook. Captain Hook, clocks, alligators. I love like, it's just certain things. It's like, man, it's connected. You know what I mean? I got a mermaid right over there. I looked at the coffee cup of my favorite place to go, and there's a sailboat on it. Place I go to every day, and I just like, cause like as I became conscious of this, I'm like, this can't be coincidence. I have dreams that I was in the ocean, like, ever since a kid. I'd be in and a lot of these dreams were fucking terrifying. But I've always had these dreams of being in the ocean. Sorry about that. I set an alarm. And then I'm like, I'll be having writer's block and be like, why the fuck am I having writer's block? Because I know I'm a writer. And it's because I'm not living an adventurous life. I'd have more stuff to write about when I was a fucking alcoholic, because at least I was living more of a adventurous life. You need stuff to write about. I'm in a person like that. I love imagination and stuff. You need a lifestyle to, and if I was living that certain lifestyle, like, and that's why so many people is like, I should have a job where I'm working with boats, even if whatever it is, a deckhand or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, and it's awesome now. Like, if anybody has similar dreams like that, and you may need to, like, really think about it. Maybe that's who you are. Maybe you just feel lost too, and you're fucking an alcoholic or whatever. Even that, it's kind of like a pirate, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. Get in alignment with, if you're not, hopefully some of you are. But yeah, there's this awesome virtual reality game, because I think that'll help me. Although I want to do the real thing, it's approved by Nautic International, which is like a education where you can take courses. It's certified by them, so it's legit. It feels like, and I was on and doing it. I'm like, man, like I feel alive on this fucking boat. And the ocean is scary, but that's the fucking. I love that. I love that fear. I love doing. That's the part of adventure. When you're living too safe, it's like, and there's no. It's boring, right? Like, I love the fact that it's terrifying because it makes me feel alive and adrenaline and right. And like even when I was playing that virtual game, I was like, think like, you know, there's a couple games. There's one game where you're like in the middle of the ocean and it feels real, and you're like, holy shit, this is terrifying, but this is amazing. Like, I'm cut out for it, right? Like, I'm cut out for the physical work of it. Those a lot of the jobs that I've gravitated to are either in the service industry or they're labor jobs. You know, so yeah, man. And so this is probably a long ass video, but yeah, man. And for most of my life, I fucking hated myself because it was like, I feel like everybody, like I feel like I didn't fit in with whatever was going on around me. Everybody and I because they just weren't my people, and I couldn't find my people because I wasn't living in alignment with where I should have been doing. I should have been, because sometimes the circle you're in around, like the environment you're raised in, could basically talk shit about you. You know, they could be against the way you are. Some people are super clean and super this, and it's like, well, some people aren't that way because that's not who they are. Some people are rugged people. Some people are outdoorsmen. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, like live in alignment, and if you've been, you know, and some people just straight up hate who you are, and they can get you to hate who you are. Like in the situation I'm in, these things are considered blasphemy, send you to hell for all eternity. That's what I was taught, and that was me. So I was a kid. I was like, oh, I guess I can't tuck that shit in. Can't have that. You know, pirates are bad. If your dad's work for the government, rebels are bad. You know what I mean? And you know, sometimes people value safety and comfort. You know, buy a home, just be safe. You know, and so yeah, it's so. And I feel like people have to get back in touch. A lot of us, some of y'all have your way, and any way you live, that's great. If that's really truly who you are, and that's awesome. But some of us got lost, trauma, all that shit. Some of us got lost, but find your way and love who you are. I hated it myself. Now I'm like, damn, bro, like, now I love it. I'm like, damn, you was right. You was the man. But a lot of times, you're like, if you don't get that validation from your people you need it from, I'm not going to say anything because I'm not trying to like, you know. But sometimes you need validation. Sometimes you're taking karate and, the person you need to care doesn't care. You need that person to be like, oh man, you're the man. You got that trophy. Oh, you like karate. Oh, you're good at that. That's, But sometimes it's kind of like the person you need the validation from is like, oh, that's fucking nothing. You need to be doing this. That's not practical, right? You can hear a lot of that. You can have dreams of being a sailor, and the person that you need to support you, oh, that's not practical. Just get a regular job. And they kill your dreams. And they say you tuck it away in your subconscious. Everybody's, oh, that's blasphemous. That's not practical. That's impossible. You can't do that. Get a regular job. And even if that regular job makes money, you're fucking miserable. Because it's not in alignment with you. And I think that's why you have certain people, like, they're successful and they make money and they're like, why am I miserable? Because a lot of times you're chasing other people's dreams. What's your dream? Maybe your dream is just to be a mechanic. And you're out here trying to be rich and famous. Because that's what the world told you. Because we live in a society that's obsessed with fame and money. And we're detached from nature. I'm a motherfucker that likes to be in nature. It's probably why I found my way to Oklahoma, to be around nature. I lived in Florida. I found my way there. And it's not coincidence, man. And maybe that's why I never got completely lost. Maybe I never got completely lost because I can find my way home. I can navigate my way home. No matter how lost I am, I'll eventually, no matter how lost I am in thought, no matter how lost I am, I find my way home. Because it's in me at such a deep level. And against odds. Even look at the tattoo, water. You get the fucking pirate mustache. Like, I never even fucking... And if you would have told me this shit, I'd been like, what are you talking about? Like, if you'd have told me this, like, if you, like... Now I'm like, it's so fucking obvious to me. And it's excited I am because it's like, oh, now I can live in alignment. I'm like, I wasted so much fucking time. I just want to fucking... So don't waste... And I know I probably get fucking... I don't know if this video starts to get views, I'll probably get canceled because society doesn't like realness. It's a fake ass society. That's why I like the Truman Show so much. Because that's society. Fake as fuck. You know what I mean? And it's like, this fucking fake ass motherfucking shit. What the fuck am I getting caught up in? I gotta get off grid of this bullshit. You know what I mean? Lighthouses, I love it all. Those are the things, even the games I play in virtual reality, it's all, it's that. But sometimes we gotta get off the fucking video games and live that life for real. Like, this is gonna sound like a diss, but like, how many motherfuckers are putting so much, like, that play video games? It's like the character that they create, the avatar that they create, they put so much energy in creating this badass fucking character, and then you see them and it's like, Why don't you put that energy in yourself and make yourself a badass looking character? But they look the opposite of what they admire. You know, we playing these adventurous games and we live boring ass lives because the conditioning. It's not your fault. Some of it is probably your fault, of course. Guys take personal responsibility, but it's conditioned because the government wants to control you. Religion wants to control you. So they pussify us and have us condition us to like live bullshit lives. And then the women aren't attracted to us because it'd be like, because we ain't live, and we could blame them, but it's like we've been brainwashed to because if most of us were living in alignment, we fucking be badasses, right? And then we'd eventually get to the money. Because a lot of times it's like, you know, look at how many people are making money off YouTube now that, you know, they never saw that, they couldn't predict that. So a lot of times when you just live the life you're supposed to live, it'll all, and you put all your focus and energy, but we're kind of conditioned to put all our energy into watching TV, right? And shit, and it's like, people before TV and all that shit, they were good at shit. Their entertainment was like, maybe you're a blacksmith and his entertainment was like doing that, and he had skills and he could make money. Most people don't have any skills now because all we fucking do is just watch TV. And my intention is not to fucking trigger. I know that's my when you know when you're real and you say uncomfortable truths, it triggers people and they probably hate you. But that ain't my intention. But come on, because we're addicted. We're addicted to unhealthy foods. We're addicted to fucking detached from nature, detached from spirit. And then they want to give us pills and drugs and here. And they demonize the things that are like magic mushrooms. Here, take this alcohol, right? So you can get drunk and then go back to your bullshit job. You know what I mean? And nothing that's going to make you more conscious. Oh, those mushrooms, that'll make you more conscious. So put those away. We want you to be a robot. You know what I mean? But anyway, this video is long enough. You know, the thing is, think about shadow work. You know, figure out and work on getting in alignment with your true self, your true fearless self, and learn to love that. Because a lot of us have been conditioned to hate that because it's badass. And society don't want you to be a badass. It wants you to be a bitch. Fuck that shit. And fuck the government. Happy Memorial Day. Peace out.